Hi everyone, welcome to Keep Calm and Game. I'm Kat, and I wanted to make this video about UAC, and I'm hoping that it's going to be good for obviously newcomers, people that are new to UAC, want a bit more information to try and help them, and also for existing players as well. So if you're a player like me, where you've been playing for a couple of years or maybe longer, no doubt you'll obviously be very familiar with UAC, and certainly within our kingdom, we've been talking and chatting, and something that we thought would be really useful is a YouTube video where we could just say to people, look, UAC is coming up, really want you to get involved. Take a look at this YouTube video and it will kind of give you the ins and outs of how it works. So a couple of things really from this video is that the first thing, obviously for the newbies, people that are new to UAC, hopefully they'll find it really useful. For those of you that have been playing longer, you may see some things that I've missed. Definitely put it in the comments and let me know about it. Any tips that you want to give me, more than happy. This is my very first video, so definitely more than happy to get any feedback. So yeah, let's kind of dive straight in and hopefully you find it useful. So with UAC, the couple of main key points I would say, firstly, your troops don't die, so not the same as normal where your troops can obviously die in UAC. They'll go into the Kingdom Hospital, which I might be able to show you. So I'm using a farm castle here, and I'll tell you why later on. So if you go across to the hospitals, you've got Kingdom Hospital here. So your troops will go in there. They heal a lot faster in there. You can't use healing speed ups, so you'll have to use gold. But it is one of the things that, in my opinion, makes UAC one of the most fun events to play. Obviously, we all know about KVK and the big castles that compete in that. This is something where it doesn't matter the size of your castle. You can take part and still have loads and loads of fun. Certainly as I was going through in the early days of my castle, and that's one of the reasons I chose to use this C21, is because literally all you need is one troop, and you can have a really good amount of fun with UAC, especially if there's a team of you with the Alliance as well. We used to love playing cat and mouse with some of the big C40s, and now obviously up to C45 as well. Really, really good fun. Nothing more satisfying than a C40 burning everything that they can and you're sat there plundering a building, which I'll come to in a minute. So that's kind of the reason why. So if we get into the actual UAC itself, so down in the bottom left hand corner here, whether you're within the castle screen or whether you're in the main screen here, you've got the UAC tab here, which if you click on, it will open up the campaign summary. So in here, you can see all the different kingdoms that you're competing against, and you can see the score. We'll come on to scoring a little bit later on. There's also the rewards tab there as well. You can also access this up in the event, the top right hand corner there. I don't know if you saw that's up in the top. Go into the event center, go down to Ultimate Alliance campaign, and this will give you an overview of how the campaign's going, who's winning, how many points they've got. So in here you can see the plus and the amount of points. So this is how many points your alliance is getting per second. So if you're plundering in other buildings, and I'll come on to the logistics of that in a bit, and the amount of treasure. A lot of this, if you're new especially, won't make sense now, but it will make sense later on down the line. I hope. If I'm doing my job properly, then it will do. So one of the good things within this section, up in the top corner bit here, you've got individual rewards. You can click in here and you can see all the different rewards that you can get and the score. Now, one of the reasons I've crazily stayed up until this early hour to show you this is that what I found, particularly with the lower castles like this C21, if we go and invade another kingdom now, this is where I found, just after reset, is where I found that I got most of my points for everything on that list within those first couple of hours, because you tend to find that UAC normally comes after the kill event, and people tend to be online a lot during the kill event, and the beginning of UAC, I think people tend to be having a little bit of a rest. Obviously, me doing this video this one time, it's probably going to turn out not to be the case, but we will try and we will have a look. So, how I do it, and there's a couple of different ways that you can go to another kingdom, but how I quite like to do it is I quite like to go into this section here and go into treasure, because this shows you all the different alliances, but it will show you if there's anybody plundering a particular building. So if I find one where someone is plundering, which it doesn't look like anybody is at the moment. Like I said, a lot of people at the beginning of UAC, they kind of are just a bit asleep there. There you go. So there is somebody plundering there. So we know, especially with me being a C21 at the moment, probably not going to go there. Obviously, as you get bigger and your castle increases, then you'll be able to take those from people. So then I click on the individual building. So we'll take this one just as an example. You can enter that particular kingdom, and there we can see all the buildings. So let's go here just because it's the first one. So click anywhere. You can click on campaign teleport. You have to go through the actual event tab to teleport. So you can't just go and find the kingdom and then port through that way. You have to go through the actual campaign section. So you can see it will find the nearest place to me and ask if I want to teleport there. So obviously I do, which I will do that. Something that is worth mentioning for those of you that are new, if you teleport, same as in some of the other events, if you port and you end up in a forest, it's worth teleporting out of the forest, because similar to other events, if you get hit and you're in the forest, it will kick you back to your own kingdom. Now that's a really handy thing to know, particularly if you get some big castles that turn up and they're in the forest. Sometimes you can rally them, because some of the bigger castles like to sit in buildings to get points. So you can kick them out of the forest. If you kick them out of the forest, they'll also go out of your building as well. So from a point of view that we're looking at it here now, if we were an alliance that was close to the forest and it was putting us in the forest, the first thing that we want to do is find a location out of the forest, and same as you would teleport normally in your own kingdom, just find a section of the map as close to the buildings as you can, obviously, that's not in the forest, and teleport there. That will stop you from being kicked. So we're going to invade here. So something that you'll notice that's different is that the buildings have got treasure next to them, and then the amount of treasure that's in them. The higher this number, the more points that you'll score, the more treasure that you'll take. Now something that is really important, and this is a really common mistake that we see, you can see here they've got defending treasure in brackets. That means that there's people defending. Now with me being a C21 at the moment, obviously I'm not particularly big and strong, so I'm going to go for this one where there's nobody defending that one, so I can go straight into that tower. So click on the building, and this is where, as I say, some people go wrong, particularly when defending. Normally when you click on one of your own buildings, it will come up garrison, so you don't want to be doing that. You want to click on plunder treasure. So always click on plunder treasure. Now this is probably one of the most important things that I'm going to show you if you're new to this. You don't have to send a full march. So I can send one cavalry. Use cavalry because it's the fastest. It will get you there the quickest, obviously. And then you can send that there. Now, whether I send a full march to that tower or one cavalry, I will get the same amount of points. The only time that's different is if you're in the building with multiple people, then it will be split depending on how many troops are there. So then the amount of troops you send is relevant. But in this particular scenario, where there's nobody in the building other than you can just send one cavalry. Now the really good advantage of that is obviously the cavalry are fast, so you want to use them. Now you then want a ghost rally if you're not familiar with a ghost rally. So a ghost rally is where, so this castle here as an example, we're going to rally it, we're going to set it for 1 hour, and we're going to hide as many troops in this rally as we can. Now that castle can't be rallied, so we'll choose this one. So 1 hour, set that. Now by doing that, you can see that a war rally has been launched. Now that's we're obviously not going to rally that castle, but what it will do now, and you can do it multiple times depending on what your march capacity is, what that will do is it will hide your troops. So for those of you that are not new to this, you'll be doing this all the time anyway. For those of you that didn't know about this, then it's a nice little nugget of information, and UAC is where you can really use it to your advantage, particularly when you're a smaller castle. So let's say that eventually they will notice that I'm there, and they'll notice that I'm in a building. Now, they can come and burn my castle. Fine. What will happen is that I'll burn, but ultimately they won't kill any troops because they're hidden within these rallies. Now, the only stipulation is obviously that you need to make sure that you refresh these rallies. So when it starts to get down to the end of the hour, you can disband the rally, start it again, and then the 1 hour will refresh and start all over again. Now, if you keep doing that, you can do it as many times as you want. Your troops will be hidden. They won't die. That way, if somebody does hit you while you're in your tower and you lose your cavalry, you can go in, disband the rally, get some more cavalry, send them to the buildings, and then re-rally. As you can see, someone's taking the building that I'm in now. So this is where the game of cat and mouse becomes really, really fun if you're a smaller castle. So it's really good that they've done this. So what they're going to do, they're going to take that building that I'm in now. So I want to get some cavalry back. So we'll disband one of the rallies. We can see this building here, they've vacated to come and get me out of that building there. So if I call them back, we can then send someone else to that building there. And again, we want to be ghost rallying again, so make sure that we hide our troops. And this cat and mouse game is where UAC, for me anyway, was really, really fun. And I know it is for a lot of other people as well. So this little cat and mouse game will go on for as long as you've got the patience for it, really. And it as I say, it's one of the things that makes UAC really, really fun. And you can get the same amount of points now by doing this as a C21 as if a C40 was doing it. Which, yeah, for me, as I say, is one of the things that really makes UAC. So, obviously I mentioned about the troops, so your troops can't die. If they do die, then they'll go into the hospital, and it does heal a lot quicker, which is good. Something that you'll see a lot of the time as well, I mentioned earlier obviously about doing the rallying. It's really good. Something that people will do is they'll attack all the different castles. Now, sometimes people just do that for fun because, well, why not? But it's something, if people are plundering the buildings, particularly if you're defending, if people are plundering your buildings but you're just concentrating on burning them, well, they're laughing because they're getting points and plundering treasure while you're concentrating on burning the castle. So don't focus so much on that. Really just do that for fun. It doesn't really bear. The only other reason I guess that you would do that is to eliminate any troops that may then, when people log on, they may then be able to use them. So that would be the other reason that you would do it. But the main focus really is the treasure and getting the treasure. So that's it from an attacking point of view. So if we head home, I'll just show you the buildings there as well, because it's fairly relevant. Just to show you the bit I was talking about with the garrison and the plundering treasure. So to go home, we can click on Ultimate Alliance Campaign in the bottom left hand corner here, click on home, and it will just teleport us home. Really, really nice and quick and easy. As I said earlier as well, if you get hit and you're in the forest, then it will teleport you home automatically. So when this loads, we will see the different buildings and what I was talking about the difference where you've got the normal garrison and then the defend treasure in this particular instance. I hope that the video is okay. So it's the first time that I've ever done this. So yeah, hopefully it's useful to you or your members and the other people in your kingdom. Okay, so here we are back home at the pub. So click on one of your buildings at home, and you can see you've got garrison. So a lot of people when defending will click on garrison, or not a lot, but a few. You don't want to be doing that for this event. You want to be clicking on treasure details, one of the useful things is it will tell you who's in that building already. So the more people that are in that building, then the less points that you'll get. But then the more protection you'll get. Depends on what you want out of it. So send troops here, exactly the same way as if you were attacking, and send. Obviously we tend to send full marches when defending our own towers, because actually you want the troops there because you want to be defending the buildings. So you may notice that we have grouped all of our buildings together here. So this was something that I learned, I guess, about 12 months ago when I was in another alliance. You don't have to do it, and you know, a lot of people do it now. For us, one of the main benefits of it is you can have your biggest castles around it, and it just makes it easier to defend. So if you've got your most active, most powerful castles in and around those buildings, then as I said earlier about that cat and mouse game that the smaller castles can play, if you've only got a couple of your sort of bigger castles on, or more powerful castles, and you've got a C30 or something like that that's playing cat and mouse with you, it's easier to keep them out of the buildings if you've got small march times. So by keeping them all together like this, it just makes it, I think, and we think, a little bit easier to defend. Not all alliances do that, but just in case you were wondering why we group them all together, that tends to be the reason why. Is there anything else that I need to tell you? Stats. So the stats that you've got in the game, what you will notice is that you'll, similar to if you know about buildings in other events, you'll get buffs by being in certain buildings. So the statistics that you normally have, depending on rewards and where you're at in the particular UAC, the actual your statistics get buffed a bit. So do expect your stats to be a little bit different during UAC. But I think that's everything. Tried to cover as much as I can. The rewards for the Ultimate Alliance campaign are pretty good, I think, compared to some of the other events. I think probably the biggest thing I would say is that it's just really, really good fun. So you can see there straight away, I've got rewards already. Your rewards and the points that you get will be more for attacking than for defending. So that's why, going back to the beginning of the video, I was saying that you tend to catch people while they're napping. So particularly when you're a smaller castle, you'll find that in sort of 6 hours time there'll be a lot more people on. So it will just be more difficult. You'll be relying on other people within your alliance to clear buildings for you and things like that, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, and it's a great bit of teamwork and it is still really good fun. But if you just want to get some points on the board, I would definitely recommend going hard at just after reset and getting in there as quickly as you can. Early bird catches the worm and all that. So yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed the video. Like I say, if you're experienced players and you have got any comments or feedback, definitely would welcome those. Please subscribe. I'm going to get some videos coming now about a lot of other bits and pieces that I hope will be of interest and of some use. So do subscribe and like, and as I say, leave any comments that you want to. But I've been Cap, and this is Keep Calm and Game. Thanks for watching.